person can do. There is nothing a good person can do when everything falls apart.
There's nothing a good person can do when everything falls apart. Another version puts it this way. My version says, when the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Everything falls apart.
Yeah. So what can the righteous actually do? What can the righteous actually do if everything falls apart? My version says, when the foundations are or if the foundations are scattered, what can the righteous do? The righteous will not be able to set aright or put in place anything about themselves or about their life if at any point in time or by any chance or by any means or by any way the altar on which they are standing is distorted or is corrupted or has been broken. Now, what am I saying here? I'm saying that one very pertinent thing about our life that matters for us to enjoy our Christian life is to first set our foundations aright. What are foundations? Foundations are truths. Foundations are truths on which life is built. Foundations are placing stones or establishing stones or establishing truths on which other truths are built. A foundation is simply the place or the holder or the carrier or the supporter of any structure. Every structure in this world has a foundation. So is every life. Foundations for you now goes back to the things that made your life who you are, to the things that connect your life to what you really are today, to the things that bring you to the point where you are. Now, foundations go back to what defines your life. Foundations go back to things that talk about your personality, that talks about your life, your character, and your conduct. So foundations go a long way to talk about things that define your family, define who you are, things that define where you're going to, and things that define your capabilities. Now, foundation actually has a lot to do with your foundation, with your altar, because foundations are only created from a point, and that point is called an altar. Your altar is what gives voice to your foundation. So we're talking about a matter of your personality. Now, the foundation of your life was laid by people that first were there in your life. The foundation of your life was laid by people whom you met. The foundation of your life is being laid by the encounters you have, who your family members are, and some of the things that you have done with yourself. Now, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this to say that your foundation defines your personality. It defines your future. Any pathway that you have chosen for yourself. So, any pathway you are set on or you have chosen for yourself, any pathway that you have set or you have chosen for yourself can only be rectified from your foundation or studied from your foundation. Your foundation will now determine a lot about the journey you've taken and where you're going to. So, how far you go is actually characterized by how solid your foundation is. How your structure, your looks, the people you meet, what you attract, who will come and be with you, and who will stay with you is about your foundation. Your foundation also has a lot to do about your character, because like the foundation of a house determines how the house go, so is your foundation. It shapes your character. Your beauty can be shaped by your character. Your handsomeness can be shaped by your character. And that starts from your foundation. So your foundation actually characterizes everything that you get to look like. So show me a man, I'll tell you his foundation. Show me the outcome of a man's life today, I'll tell you the foundations that were set up for them before yesterday, 1 year ago, 1,000 years ago. So all about you is actually defined from your foundation. Now, I was saying that foundations are actually put in place by people, and you can lay foundations using what we call altars. Altars are central points for building foundations. Every man's life can only be able to take a particular shape if the altar speaks about that shape. So the altar is the platform for setting foundations. So we talk about foundations. Foundation and altar is like a blueprint is to the physical structure. So the blueprint is like the architectural design. When the architecture puts up a design, it's so that they can follow it and raise up a structure. Now, the blueprints is the altar. It's from the blueprints that every foundation is set up. So we're saying that every foundation of yours has life from the altar. Just like the blueprint empowers builders, constructors, engineers to set up a foundation, so does a blueprint, or does an altar, does an altar empower people, situation, your family, and your environment to define how your life will look like. Every time your life is not the way it should be, if you can go back to your foundation and look at the altar that is sticking onto your foundation, you can be able to address that situation. So that's why we're going to speak elaborately about altars. Now, we're going to learn more about this. I just wanted to give you this briefing, and then we'll talk now. So let me not go back into what we're going to learn, because this we're going to learn when we're in our group meeting. Now, we want to look at altars. I'm sure you read the passage that was given to you. We saw here that if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? It means it's not how good you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. The person who you are does not actually respect. The person who you become or the person who you are is not the good person who you are, and whatever is not respected by foundation and altars. Foundations is not a respecter of good people. Foundations is a respecter of laws, spiritual laws. There are laws that are put in place. If you're a good man, you go and buy land in a poto ground or in a wasteland and build a house, that house will collapse. If you're a good man, you are a very sincere man, you give your money well to people, and you are honest and good, and those people are bad people, and they erect for you a bad foundation, no matter how they do that house, it grows big. It will collapse one day. Even if you're inside that house will not spare you because you're a good man. You will die with it. So, goodness or foundations and altars are not respecter of goodness. It's not about your goodness, your niceness, or whatever. You must follow principles and laws to set foundations aright. If you don't follow the principles, you will suffer. Let's go to our scripture that we look at in the book of Judges. Judges.
Yes, man of God.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm the man of God.
So we remember the scripture we look at.
Yes. At Judges 6, verse 23 to 28. Judges 6, verse 23 to 28.
Okay. Okay, so let's go on.
Okay, I read. But the Lord said to him, Peace, don't be afraid, you will not die. Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and named it the Lord of Peace. In brackets, it is still standing at Ophrah, which belongs to the clan of Abiezer. That night, the Lord told Gideon, Take your father's bull and another bull, 7 years old, tear down your father's altar to Baal, and cut down the symbol of the goddess Asherah, which is beside it. Build a well-constructed altar to the Lord your God on top of this mound. Then take the second bull and burn it whole as an offering, using for firewood the symbol of Asherah you have cut down. So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did what the Lord had told him. He was too afraid of his family and the people of the town to do it by day, so he did it at night. When the people of the town got up early the next morning, they found that the altar to Baal and the symbol of Asherah had been cut down, and that the second bull had been burnt on the altar that had been built there.
Okay, good. Thank you. First, notice something there. What was the first thing? What is the first thing that you saw there? Now, there were some questions that I asked that you respond to. Were you able to respond to the questions?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, so the first question that we had there was, we said, you look through this and see what is there and about altar and make inferences. One, look at the type of altars here. What are the type of altars that you saw here?
But I saw two types, God or divine altars and ungodly altars.
How many type of altars?
But for me, I identified two main types of altars. One which I call the divine altar, that is to God as supreme, and the other was an ungodly altar to the different gods, deity that people serve. So those are the two
The
types
other
of
one, which kind
altars.
of altar you said is called what?
Like an ungodly altar.
Okay,
Like,
ungodly altars.
yes,
Ungodly
to serve.
altars. Okay.
Yes.
My volume was low. Okay, ungodly altars. Okay, so you could identify godly or ungodly altars there. So, what was it about the godly altars?
I think that the godly altar first of all was instructed by God. And what struck me most was the name of the altar of peace.
Okay,
Yeah,
godly
and it
altars.
was as a yes, and it was as a result of an encounter, like an experience that you have with that Gideon had with God, that this altar was built. It was built on God's instructions. And another thing that caught my attention was the name of the altar, altar of peace. Hello.
Can you hear me? I'm back. Sorry, my phone died, so I was trying to connect
I can
another,
I can yeah, I can hear you
another
now,
one.
man of God.
Yes. Okay, go on. Okay, go on.
Yes. What I understood about this divine altar is that it was built out of an experience that Gideon had with God. It was built on God's instruction. There was divine instruction behind it. And another thing is the name of the altar.
Okay, godly altars. Okay, godly altars are built under divine instructions. Okay, that's good. And then godly altars have a names that look. Godly altars are affiliated to good names, right names. Okay, that's good. Okay, so basically, if we look carefully or look keenly to that passage, you'll notice that yes, you said there are two kinds of altars, but on that passage, how many altars did you see there? Are there just two types? There are two main categories
Um,
there, godly and ungodly
oh yeah,
altars. But in that passage,
yes.
were there
No,
just two?
I think
Yes,
if I think if I go back to it, no, they were not just two types. I think there was
yes.
I and this is a person. Oh, but I think I don't know. Let me just say what I think that the first author that Gideon built, it was first of all, I don't know if it's personal, but I think if I go by what I have here, that it is still standing at Opera, I think, which belongs to the clan of Abizer. It means it's like a community, how can I put it, altar. It is,
Yeah, is he
I don't know
called
whether
that
it's a,
at Opera of Abizer? No, then Gideon built an altar there to God and named it God's Peace. It's still called that at Opera of Abizer. It's Opera of Abizer. It doesn't mean the altar is Abizer. Opera is a place in Abizer. In Abizer.
okay. Um, all right, because if when I according to the version I have, when they say it is still standing at Opera, which belongs to the clan of Abizer, it means
So
it's like a communal
Opera.
altar.
No, Opera
Okay.
belongs to the clan of Abizer. It's not the altar that
Ah,
belongs. Look at it. Look at it. You
okay.
see a comma. Look at it very well. You see a
Okay.
comma. He said
All right,
that
man of God.
it is still standing there. Yes, if you look at it very well, it's not the altar that belonged there. It says, then Gideon built an altar. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, man of God.
So that altar was called what?
I think it's like a personal altar.
Hello?
Yes, man of God. To me, I think it's a personal altar. I lost it. Oh, Juby, I mean, you get orange money. All right.